another Ron's opinion don't matter. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Welcome in. Welcome to another episode. We're doing this thing big. Not really, but we're gonna do it big. I got a lot I want to get into. I definitely want to take a lot of your questions if y'all have questions. Like and subscribe. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Help a brother out. Please go back, watch these videos over and over. You might learn something. You might get something out of it. You might want to cuss me out. I don't know. Either way, it don't matter. There's a whole lot going on. We know we're getting close. We're getting very close to November 5th. It's almost here. So the question is, on November 5th, are we going to have more of the same? Or are we going to be making America great again? I don't know. But I'm going to be honest with you. When I'm out and about, moving around the country, in my little bit of space, whatever. The other day, taking a ride, that's about a week ago, my grandson was having a football game, whatever that was going to. And I was on a route in Pennsylvania, Route 100, and I'm driving through, man, and these, you see the Kamala side, you see Trump signs out there, but the people that made their signs for Trump, and I know why they did it. Like, they made these big billboards on, like, what you would call like an easel or, whatever, so they stand there. And I know why they did it. The reason why they did it, because a lot of times when people put their Trump signs out there, these liberals and people that hate Trump for whatever reason, go back and they've been stealing the signs. Basically, they, taking them off people's lawns, running them over, whatever, because they hate Trump. They don't have a reason why they hate Trump. Well, their reason is because somebody told them to hate Trump, because they really don't have a reason to hate Trump. They doing it because somebody said, hate Trump. Trump ain't did nothing to none of them. Not one thing. But yet they want to hate Trump. And the thing about it is that when I watch how people when you start talking to people about politics, and it's a hard conversation sometimes, but you really, really need to have these conversations, because we as people, sometimes we rely too much on government as if government is the answer to things, and they're not. It really isn't. I see a lot of heavy support for Trump, like everywhere I go, and I see some for Kamala. But usually when I see, what's up, Chris, for real, welcome, how you doing? God bless you. When I see people for supporting for Kamala Harris or whatever, they really don't have a way of articulating what she stands for. And the reason why they don't have nothing that she stands for, because she really don't stand for anything. Everything that she's talked about up until this point has been a flip-flopping conversation. She says one thing now, but she was saying a whole lot of things before. And one thing about it is that when somebody flip-flops that much, you can't trust nothing they say out of their mouth at that point. You can't. I'm all for sometimes changing your mind, because you might see it one way and eventually you might see it something different. I'm all for it. I've changed my mind on many things. So I don't have a problem with somebody changing your mind. But it's a difference between changing your mind and changing it in the moment to try to get people, to convince people that you really have changed, when in reality you haven't. You just saying it just enough to try to get them to vote for you so that you can go back to doing what you really want to do, which is, number one, take citizens' guns away from them. Number two, control freedom of speech, ban fracking, and all of the things that you keep saying now you're for, when you was against, for years you've been against all this stuff. So why now you so-called convinced that it's good for America? And the reality of it is that, and then the other thing is, when I hear what stuff comes out of them, I'm telling you 100%, Kamala Harris has no clue how to run this country. She has zero experience in running the country. I don't care about the handful of people that say, oh, look at her history and her background. Her background is stupidity. That's it. It's stupidity. Hey, what's up, Curtip? Welcome in. Her background is stupidity. Like I said, for somebody, when you look at somebody's career and you start seeing the steps that they take to get to where they're at, you see whether they earned it or not. And Kamala Harris haven't earned her position. Everywhere she went and she slept with somebody to get there. Willie Brown, who was a married man, picked her up, and be honest with you, he was doing so much corrupt stuff in California. That's why he gave her position that she got to protect him from being prosecuted for the stuff that he was doing. And people don't even pay that stuff no attention. But neither here nor there. I'm not even gonna get that far into that, that far into that part of what I'm basically saying. I always tell people this is that this is the thing I always say is the stock market as a whole has been my biggest educator of what this country is really doing and what we're going through and why things are the way they are. And yes, you're gonna have people that's going to be on the Trump side. Yes, you're gonna have people that's going to be on the Democrat, Republican, whatever case may be. When growing up in the black community, undoubtedly, everybody was taught that the Republican Party as a whole was the party of racists. They are racist. In reality, in order for me to find out, what's up, Shereen, what's up? In order for me to find out, is this so? I had to pull myself out of it and I said, all right, let me go around the people that they say are racist. And when I found out they're not. Now, I'm not saying none of them are. There might be some, but I'm not saying none of them. But I said, let me extend myself and go around the people that they say I'm not supposed to be around to find out if they really are racist or is it more smoke and mirror. And what I found out is they're not. They'd be happy to see you. They embrace you and they want to know more about who you are and whatever case may be. That's why I decided I'm going to go to a Trump rally. I'm going to go around these people that they keep saying in the media. That's why I don't believe nothing that the news say at this point. What they're saying and what I actually see is two different things. That's why I had to go on the ground and do the work myself to find out exactly what's really going on. But again, back to the stock market educator part of it is that, and I know that politicians, a lot of the politicians are crooks. A lot of them are. But what I try to tell people is that majority of them are on the Democratic side. So when people start looking at Democrats and they think that Democrats are helping them, like let's just say in the communities where you got housing and you're getting public assistance and all of those things are put there to keep you voting in line with them. That's what they're there for. And the other thing they're there for is to keep you from being a competitor in the world that they live in. My case in point is when they brought all these illegals over here, and Texas was dealing with them, Texas said, you know what, we're going to take a handful of them. Since they think they want sanctuary cities, we're going to take a handful of them. Not all of them. We're going to take a handful, and we're going to send them up to Martha's Vineyard. Now, Martha's Vineyard is where all the wealthy Obama and all of them live at, right? Soon as they got there, they packed them up and shipped them to New York. No, we don't want that here. And why? That's why I keep telling people when you vote, when you go to voting and you keep voting for these Democrats are creating the mess that you're living in. They're creating it. They don't want it for them. That's why they're not living in it. That's the reason why they'll go get people like Steve Harvey, Taraji P. Henson, and all of these famous people who no longer living in the conditions that you're living in. They'll hand them money and tell them, go talk to your black people and tell them who to vote for and what to do. Why? Because we don't want the average and below average black people ever getting to the point where they come around us. And that's the truth of the matter. That's why they want you to keep voting that way. They don't want you to ever be a competitor in the world. They're okay with a handful of black people having some bread to be able to live wild. They don't want too many of y'all having some. That's why they keep doing what they're doing. And as long as you keep supporting that type of mentality, you're going to always get what you get. That's the truth of the matter. And what happened is that, and every time they see that they losing somebody, they'll get a black somebody that they'll call black or make like they black or act like they black, and they try to get them to speak to you like as if you don't have a mind of your own. That's how stupid they think we are as black people. And I'm just talking as a people, and I'm talking to black people. That's how stupid the Democratic Party think you are. They don't think that you have the brain cells to reach the level of potential that you actually have in your own mind. They think everything that you get, they have to give it to you. And what they do, how they keep you there is they regulate and tax you out of the game. They'll raise taxes, raise regulations, and put all of these things in the Magic Johnson. Yeah, all right, please. Ain't nobody following Magic Johnson. And they'll raise taxes and put all of these things into place to keep you out of the game. So, for me personally, I had to learn firsthand what was really going on. And that's why I say the stock market has been my biggest educator. I watch how they move money, and I see how they do it and how they position themselves to keep themselves wealthy and to keep you under duress. They don't tell you what you really should do to better your life. They tell you to rely on the little bit that the government is going to give you so you always stay right where you at. And that's the truth of the matter. because they know that if they keep you there and they keep you under duress, they can always have your vote because they will fearmonger you into voting that way. Oh, if you don't vote for us, they're going to take away this. If you don't vote for us, they're going to take away that. Now, I had a conversation with somebody. We was talking about daycare, right? And how expensive daycare was, right? And I said, well, I'm going to be honest with you. When I was growing up, we didn't have daycares. Now, it might have been a handful of them. We had neighborhood people that lived in our neighborhood that watched the kids. Now, this is why daycare is so expensive, but this is the part that the Democratic Party never tell you. When I was growing up as a kid, Miss Connie and Miss Peggy watched most of the kids. And if anybody ever grew up, my sister and them, they know exactly what I'm talking about, right? When you got home from school and you didn't, your parents, that's where you went. And they watch and they made, that's how, and this is the reason why they keep the communities divided. And then when the government got involved and started regulating daycares, that's when it got expensive. Here's my case in point. If I owned a daycare, right? Let's just say I got 8 kids in my daycare. The government said I got to hire another person in order to, if I have more kids than this at my daycare. All right, so if I have to hire another person, that's another payroll. That means I have to, it's going to cost me more money to maintain these kids in here because they say it's not safe, right? So now the daycare has to charge the customers twice as much money in order to cover the cost of that person work that they have to hire in order to watch these kids. That's why daycare is so expensive. It has nothing to do with anything but that. It's because government has regulated daycares to the point where it's costing the everyday person more money. And what ended up happening? We gave them that business because listen, I understand stuff happens. I understand the other part of it where people do and they do stuff to kids, and I understand all of that, but you can't control that. That's the reality of it is. You can't, as much as you want to protect that, you really can't because it happened in daycares too. But the other thing is, the part that I'm talking about outside of that is that, but when you lived in a neighborhood and you had a community and the community came together and everybody knew each other and they you knew who to trust and who not to trust. You had a good idea of who to trust and who not to trust. And that's the reality of it is. And that's the reason why the government now regulate daycare. And now you spending all this money trying to keep your kids. Daycare would have never been that expensive if the black community would have kept the government out of it. And if we would have been communicating and getting to know each other close enough that we know, okay, so-and-so is home all day, single mom or whatever. They some really good people. They got great morals, but they just want to watch people's kids. Everybody else is going to work, and that's who's watching everybody's kids. What do you need government for? You don't. But that's what ended up happening. And and that's why the food costs and all of this other stuff that's getting so expensive because the government keeps getting involved. And if you want to better this American, if you want to bring down the cost of America, you need to vote for politicians that understand what that is really doing. If I'm out there and I'm a foreman and I'm growing food and stuff, and the government comes along and regulate everything that I did, which is costing me 3-4 times more to do it, now I'm not even making a profit. It's best for me to just get out the farming business altogether. Same thing with the cars. If the government comes in and they start regulating everything on how you build cars and how you make cars and making it expensive, now when people go to buy cars, the cost of making the car is not on the part of the employees and all that other stuff. It's because the government got involved and it regulated to the point where it's expensive now. And this is just some of the reasons why I understand Trump's policies by far more than the ones that's in office right now. This is why he keeps saying what he's saying, but people keep listening. Oh, I like this person and I like that person. They talk about their emotions. I don't care about that. You like your pockets being empty? You like being broke? You like spending all that money when you go to the store to get the very same goods that would have cost you twice as less then? Even though you making more money, you ain't see a dime of it because the cost of living is extremely high. Now you can't even enjoy your money. My case, the other point I'm making is, I was in a restaurant Friday, right? Sitting in a restaurant, went to go out eat. Friday, I'm going to say around 5:30, 6 o'clock. A chain restaurant that's usually pretty popular. I'm not getting into what restaurant it is, but it was probably 70% of the seating in there was empty on a Friday. That shows you how bad the economy is. I don't know too many sit-down restaurants that was ever that empty Whenever in my lifetime and other. Usually on a Friday when you go to eat, there's a waiting time. Every single time you've ever went to any restaurant, even the ones that ain't that popular, you still had waiting to be seated. You don't get that no more. That's how bad it is. And most of us are just, and I guarantee if you bought food, ordered food, I guarantee that the food that you order is probably 40 to 50 times more than it was if you would have bought it 5 years ago, 4 to 5 years ago. And what y'all don't understand is that when the Democratic Party keeps trying to say, oh, we're trying to better for people, when they start talking about handouts cost taxpayers. That's it. It has nothing to do with anything. Handouts cost taxpayers. And if you're a working citizen and you're a taxpayer, the last thing you want is handouts. You don't want the government involved in anything. You want to be able to keep as much of your money as possible so you can decide where your money goes and what you use it for. So if I turn around and say, oh, we want to hand out $6,000 tax credit, how about not taxing me so I can keep my $6,000 and I can do what I want to do with it? We're going to give you $25,000 to help out, which in reality, that's never going to happen. I'm telling y'all right now, they're smoke and mirror. They can't do it. It's not going to happen. But I'm saying, let's just say, for the sake of stupidity, it can. We're going to give you $25,000 to buy, purchase a home. Now, if you ever bought a home recently, there is so much smoke and mirror and all of the regulations into purchasing a home and all of the costs into purchasing, not you actually bought, purchasing a home. The cost of that so much is going to eat that money up so much. The other thing they're going to do is the house is going to get inflated. Because the housing market going to say, well, oh, they're giving out extra money. Let's raise the price of the house. So you're never going to see it anyway. And then the mortgage companies are going to make it on the back end now because now that they inflated the price of the house, you're going to be paying, even though you're going to pay a 30-year mortgage, the cost of the house so much, the mortgage company is going to make out more and more. They're going to make a ton of money off of that. Because the average person isn't educated in the process of knowing what it really costs to buy a home. You know what it costs you? If you have to get a mortgage on a loan, and you don't have a lot of money and you borrow, you know what it costs you? It costs you 3 times the price of the home in 30 years of your life. That's what it really costs you. Forget everything else. Because the average mortgage is going to be a 30-year mortgage. So that's 30 years of your life that you got to work and make sure you maintain that mortgage. What's up, Mike, in the building? What's up, bro? Thank you. Talk that talk. You're right. We talking it. Now, that's a 30-year mortgage. That's a 30-year commitment. You get what I'm saying? 30 years. So you got to hope that nothing happens in 30 years of your life that you end up losing this house. Now, if you happen to go bankrupt, lose a job where the mortgage company come, now they foreclose on your home, they're going to put that home up for auction. The wealthy going to come in and buy their home and then resell it to someone else, and you got nothing out the deal. Let's just say you did for 10, 15 years and you paid all of this money in mortgages. Things go bad, you lose a house. They sell your house off. You got nothing out of that. Nothing. This is the game that they've been playing on you. Now, if anybody got any questions or something they want me, to address, get my opinion on, whatever, you're welcome to put it in the chat, please. But this is the game that they've been playing on you. That's why I keep telling everybody, before you do anything, invest your money. Invest your money. Stop being a consumer and start being an investor. Get away from the consumption aspect of it and go into the investment aspect of it. If you go into the investment aspect of it and you spend 10 years building that, you will never have to worry about your finances. But they will not tell you that in school because the schools are funded by big business. They don't want you to learn that. They're not going to tell you that anything. You know what they're going to tell you in school? Get a loan and go to college. Why? Because they own all the colleges. They say, you want to be a doctor? Oh, yeah, get a loan and become a doctor. Be an RA and all of this, run up all of this credit, all of this debt. Why? So you become a slave to the debt. And now that you're a slave to the debt, they the one owns all the companies, so they own your life because you're working for them as a slave. Because everything that you're working for is going to everybody else but you. It's going to the electric company, it's going to the gas company, it's going to the mortgage company, it's going to the tax company. Everybody is getting everything that you work for. And the only difference between you and slavery right now is you're not getting hit with a whip. They done traded the whip for bills and resources. So if you don't own none of the resources, you are a victim to it. And this is the thing that Trump is trying to tell everybody is we need to escape that. He wants to deregulate a lot of this stuff that they're doing. He wants to stop taxing you and your paycheck. That's why he said no tax on overtime. They know you got to pay some taxes because there are things that the government do that we need to keep in place, like Social Security. and keeping up the infrastructure and the roads and all that stuff. I get that part. But if you look at what the government has been spending the other money on, why are we doing that? Why are we giving billions of dollars to Ukraine? I don't want to pay taxes for Ukraine. I don't care less. It's nothing personal. I don't want to pay taxes for that. I don't want my tax money going to Ukraine when I see homeless people in America. I don't want my taxes going to Ukraine when I see the veterans who have fought and put out everything to try to protect this country. I have a problem with that. The other thing is I don't want Social Security to be impossible, even come close to being possibly not there for anyone that's in America. Why? Because if you work in America, you pay into the system. That means you are the one who's supposed to benefit from it when you get to the age where you can't do it no more. That's it. I want us to get to the point where we can lower the age of Social Security so that people don't have to work the longer years to get there. You're right. It might be hard. I think it's going to be a hard thing to pull. And I think, well, she said basically no tax. I didn't catch everything, but I finished reading over here. But she said basically no tax on overtime is going to be a hard one to pull. But my thing is this, is that it is going to be a hard thing to pull. But if Trump wins and he wins by a landslide, that is an indicator that people want this. Now, those that are in Congress and the House and in the Senate, if knowing that the level of pull that he has right now, if they don't vote in line with that, and he says that he let the people know that, listen, I'm putting this out here. I put it as a thing on the bill. They're not supporting it. Then that's going to help. That's going to say, okay, now we need to dismantle whether you Republican or whether you Democrat. We need not to vote you next. So that's why I say you need to vote not just for Trump, down party lines that make sure that that becomes a little easier for him. So if you going to vote Trump, you look at the Republican Party and you vote down party lines in hopes that he gets the House Republican and the Senate Republican. If he gets both of them that way, if he gets put that bill in there, it's more likely to get it passed than if he doesn't. That's why when I go vote, I'm voting down party line. I'm not worrying about what's up, word up, what's up. I'm not worrying about so much just Trump. I got to vote down party lines to make this job easier because at the end of the day, I think no tax on tips. Now, even if they drastically lower it. Let's just say they lower it to a point where you get 80%. Let's say you get 80% of the money that you work in overtime. 80% or 90%. I know there's going to be some compromise in there somewhere. 90%. You know how much difference that will make financially in somebody's life? And if you're not going to tax tips, imagine if you work on a job where you do get tips. Now you're not getting that tax neither. See, what people don't realize is that that's what you need, less government. Because the government is not spending the money that they're getting responsibly. They're wasting it everywhere else. So what they're going to do is they're going to tell you, they're going to say, oh, we need to protect women's rights. Why? Because that's all they're going to worry about. They don't really run, they can't run on economics. My thing is this, any person in reality, and I don't like you get too far on the abortion thing, but the reality of it is a lot of women that have abortions because they can't financially take care of the child. That's reality. But if a lot of them was able to financially as a family to raise these children, abortions will drop drastically. You're right. I agree with you. I can't wait till November 5th. But if you get to the point where financially you're free, you're able to raise your children without the financial dire, you're more likely to have and keep those children as opposed to getting rid of them. And I'm not saying in every case, but it would drop drastically because financially you can afford it. Because you're getting, I work a little bit of overtime, I do this, I can afford to get my kids the clothes, the things that they need necessary, and it's not such a strain on us financially. You do not need government for the stuff that they keep trying to offer you. And at this point in my life, I'm voting for politicians that don't want to enlarge government because I see the cost of it when it comes to Americans, everyday American citizens. That's it. You see how much if you go get your car inspected recently, you had a nightmare. I don't care who you are. If you went and got your car inspected, you just had a nightmare. I guarantee you that every time you take your car to get inspected, you easily looking at over $1,000 just for stupid stuff. You know where them regulations came from? That's government. Regulating everything about a car to now you can't even afford to own it. They're doing it for a reason. They're not doing it because they're trying to protect citizens and that so-called Green New Deal and China. First of all, none of that stuff is true. And I'll be the first one to tell you that it's not true. You're right. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you that's true, not true. What they're using it as a fear mongering to get you, to force you to go into fall in line with it, when in reality, that's not true. None of it's true. Global warming and all that stuff. That's the lie that they tell you to be able to force these lies in there and for you to comply. And it's costing you to live lifestyle. I guarantee you that most people that own cars right now are over. They only want a car. I wish I could walk to work. That's the truth. You wish you could walk to work. Like, man, I'm over it. That's what they want. They don't want you to have the freedom and enjoyment to be able to enjoy your life every single day. They want slavery, and it's the Democratic Party that keep pushing it. All the laws and all of the regulations and everything that they're doing is literally slowly pushing you back into slavery. That's the reason why they want to take guns away from people, is to push us back into slavery. Why? Because if a people can't defend themselves, we can make them do whatever we want them to do. And that's the truth of the matter. Say what y'all want to say. Y'all ain't got to agree with me, but I'm telling you, brother man, see all this. I see what's coming. I see what's coming. And if you a person that say you believe in God and Jesus Christ is your Lord and your Savior, and you say you have some form of relationship with Christ, Kamala Harris in her last thing got mad at the person that said Jesus is Lord and said she said out of her mouth, when that person said Jesus is Lord, she said, you at the wrong rally. You at the wrong rally. You need to go to the one down the street. What'd that tell you? What'd that tell you? They do not want God at all. Okay, with tariffs. Let me explain something to you. And I get what she's saying about tariffs. First of all, the ones that's talking about tariffs don't run no businesses. They don't deal with tariffs on that level. They're talking out of their mouth like it's going to cost consumers. This is the reason why Trump is trying to get away from that. In America, and we're going to feel this a little bit, and I agree, we is going to feel it, but some things that we feel I'm okay with. And the reason why I say we're going to feel it, because in order to get manufacturing and jobs back into America, we're going to have to take this one a little bit on the chin. Because China, we done shipped everything over to China and these other countries. They're manufacturing, they're making everything, right? All right, so there is a cost involved getting it over here. Now, if you look at our car dealerships and you look at the cost of our automobiles, they're not buying them. They're not buying from America products from America. They only sell into America. That's the reason why we're putting tariffs on them. Yes, you're right, Sharice, she did. But now, here's the thing. That's the reason why that's the reason why tariffs is necessary, and we have to tax them. Because my thing is this, is that if Trump, if he gets in office, he got to push back and bring back a manufacturing and making cars and all of this stuff in America, so we don't be so reliant on what's going on in the other countries. Meaning is we get too much stuff from them. So in order to bring back the American things, you got the number one, lower the taxes for people to start business over here and start manufacturing over here and make it easier for them to do it here. Now, initially, we're going to take a little bit of a hit. Not a hit like they talking, no, not even that. But once them businesses get up and rolling and they know that they can keep their profits and keep reinvesting into their business because they incentivized to do so, now they can pass those savings over to a country. Now we're not so reliant on what we get from other countries. Now, what that's going to do to make other country, if you want to sell over here, if you want to sell to America, you're going to have to buy some stuff from America too. That's the problem. We're too reliant on these other countries. So when they put tariffs on it, it depends on what they put tariffs on. But my thing is this, a lot of stuff we can make it right here. So here's the plan. If we go drill, baby, drill, like Trump is talking about, we go into that ground and we get the resources that we have here. And let's just say he get to the point where we head back to where we got 100 years of energy stored up, gasoline, oil, whatever the case may be. Now we can lower the cost of energy right here in America. If we lower the cost of energy and manufacturing and building and creating stuff right here in America, these businesses can get up and running real fast. And they can become profitable real fast because the government is over-regulating them to do so. And then when they open up, if they're able to do that, then now we can get the product cheaper right here at home. And that's the reality of it is. So yeah, there might be a small hit, but it's not going to be a hit where it's going to be detrimental or devastating. I listen to people that actually do business over in other countries and tariffs and stuff like that. And every last business person that have businesses running over there or American businessmen, they're saying that we need to do it the way Trump is saying do it. And they're the ones actually dealing with the trade issues and stuff like that because they see that it's wrong. They're saying it's wrong. They're saying, look, it's wrong. We need to do it here. I prefer to do it here. But because here is so hard to do it, we have to go over there just to do it and be able to bring it back over here, which is stupid. Why go through all of that when I can do it right here? And that's the truth. We should not be outsourcing to all of these countries what we can actually do and make and build right here in America. I'm not saying everything. What I'm saying is that we have gotten away from manufacturing at home too far away to where now these other countries are controlling all of the manufacturing and making of stuff when we're not doing it here. I know as a young person, I remember, and I'm going to use my dad as an example. My dad would go do something. We'd be out working, whatever. And this is me as a young kid first. And he would once he got finished, and he would stare at what he did. Like once he's done, he'd look at it. And you can see the pride of the finished product that was him. That when he looked at what it was done. When it was done, you can see it pride. And then, and my thing in America is this. There was a pride that used to be there with stuff that was made in America that's no longer there no more. When you look at some of these older houses that we have and how they're made and all of the hard work to make it a unique and strong and lasting, you don't see that no more. Now it's just junk. I would never buy. I don't want no parts of these houses that they're making right now. Every time I see them, I say, yeah, look, another fancy stack of wood. That's all it is. A fancy stack of wood. They took some wood and made it look fancy. That's it. You're not buying a house. That's not a house, nor is it a home. It's a fancy stack of wood. And they're charging you $400,000 for a fancy stack of wood. Because there is no stone. There is no brick. There was no hard labor involved in building it. So what am I exactly paying $400,000 for? Because if I had buy this house and all it is a fancy stack of wood, you're right. And my thing is, hold on one second. You're right. It's not comparable. What we're dealing with right now is by far past tariffs. And that's the reality of it is. What we're dealing with right now and the cost of living is ridiculous. It's off the roof. It don't even make sense. It does not make sense. But my thing is this, is that, we got to vote in line with what's best in us. And my thing is this. The issues that the Democratic Party are trying to say that issues is not big issues amongst any community. Not alone just black community. That's any community. And back to the stock market issue, because I want to hammer this before I get off this live. The reason why I continuously invest, I don't care how bad the stock market looks. When it looks bad is exactly when I buy. When it looks bad is when I buy. Now, if anybody go... I'm sorry, I was reading a comment. It just made me laugh. But the reason why I say that is that I continuously invest. And when the stock market goes down, that's when I get excited. And because I already know in most cases it's some bull crap. And that's the reason why I continuously invest. Because at the end of the day, I invest in the companies that resource. And listen, this is not financial advice. You do what you want to do, but I'm just going to tell you what I do. I invest in a way that I invest from the ground to the consumer. And that's how I invest. I invest in manufacturing. Thank you. I invest in manufacturing. I invest in retail. I invest in oil. I invest in gas. I invest in the gas companies. I invest in the electric company. I invest in the water company. I invest in everything that the world is doing. I'm not using all, and like I said, when I say I invest in everything that the world is doing, when I talk to my family members, they tell you, I know I'm annoying. I know for a fact that when it comes to, I'm annoying. Why? Because I'm trying to hammer into my family members exactly what I see. And whether they take it, use it, their choice. But if you're around me, you're going to get this, and I don't care how you feel because I'm not concerned about your feelings. What I'm concerned about is your ability to be able to take care of yourself, being free from government. Put your hands in what they're doing. And that's the truth of the matter. I do not care. How I encourage myself when it comes to investing, when I travel around, I see everywhere my money is at. When I see somebody driving a Ford, I'm like, yep, I got stock in Ford. When I see somebody driving a Honda, yep, I got stock in Honda. I see somebody driving a Toyota, yep, I got stock in Toyota. I see somebody paying an electric bill, yep, I got stock in the electric company. Yep, I see somebody paying a water bill, yep, I got stock in the water company. I do not care. When I drive past Sunoco, I look and say, look, people are buying my gas. When I drive by Texaco, I say, look, people are buying my gas. I invest in everything. And that's how I encourage myself, because I know that most of the time people are not going to encourage me. So I encourage myself to continue in the path. And I'm telling you right now, if I was to show you my stock portfolio just in one of them, 80% of the things that I got invested in it are by far in the green. And some of them are 100% and more above what I originally paid for it. And I did not do nothing smart. I did not do nothing intelligent. I did not do nothing brilliant. I just waited for it to fall, and I just bought in, and then just waited for it to do what it was going to do with whatever it is that I had. And I'm not saying I got a lot of money. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that what little bit I had, I went, and you know what? I followed Warren Buffett's strategy. When I heard him say, now he's one of the greatest traders of all, he said, most people get excited when the stock market is up. I get excited when the stock market is down. And I'm like, okay, this guy got more cash than most people. And he can buy most of these people out here. So something in that. So I'll be on the margin. I see something fall. Okay, I'm put some money there. And not long after that, I see it go back up. And does that work 100% of the time? Nope. No, it doesn't. And that's the truth. It doesn't. But I'm a risk. I mean, we all risk taking. We just don't realize that we're risk takers. We are all risk takers and don't realize that we're risk takers. And then, like, let's say crypto. Like, as I know there are people that I have some money in crypto, but I'm not, I spent a little bit of time talking, digging into the crypto market and stuff like that. And, I remember when Trump was not on the crypto train. He wasn't. Until somebody showed him what it was really about. And then all of a sudden he flipped, because now he understood that it was better than the banking system that we currently have. Now, here's the thing. I don't leave money in banks. I buy the bank. I don't leave, and any company that you see, if you just go in and you look at the graphs of the cost, I want y'all to do this. When y'all get off this live, I want y'all to go look up stocks, right? And I want y'all to go look at go pick any stock across the stock market and go look at when they did the government shutdown with COVID, and look at the price of the stock then, almost 4 years ago. Now, if you think that the Democratic Party care about that, when they did that shutdown, when they did all of that stuff, that was a moneymaker for the Democratic Party. They knew exactly why they was doing it. They had y'all worrying about getting the jab, and why they was about to get rich. And if they care anything about small businesses, why did they shut the small businesses down and leave all of the big businesses open? Because that's what they had their money invested in. They didn't care about the mom and pop businesses. They had their money invested in Walmart, so they wasn't shutting that down. They had their money invested in Amazon, so they wasn't shutting that down. What they was doing was spooking the market so everybody can run, so they can come in and buy it up and made millions off of it. Just go back, look 4 years ago. When they did COVID, and look at the price of the stocks and look at them right now. Just about every last one of them. And look at the price of them right now. It's a game that they're running on you, and you don't even realize you're a victim to the game. Let me ask you a question. I'm gonna pick a food company. Let's say Campbell Soup, right? Campbell Soup, or yes, they did. Campbell Soup. Let's say Campbell Soup or something like company like Kellogg's, right? These companies are not even large billion dollar companies, but these companies are highly profitable. Most of these people own the shares of them, and they own the stock in them. These companies are paying out dividends everywhere. All right, so here's the thing. Let's just say you buy cereal and you got your kids. Like, you got kids and you got to buy them cereal. But let's just say you own $20,000, $30,000 of shares in the companies that make breakfast food. And let's say monthly wise, they're giving you $300-400 a month in dividends off of the money that you have invested into breakfast food. That's your shopping bill in some cases. I want y'all to hear what I'm saying and pay attention. Put your money into the companies that make this stuff, as opposed to being the one always being the consumer. That's why I do what I do. If you put the money in the company and you invest in the company, if they're paying you, even if you're just doing it I do it for the dividend. I like dividends. That's my thing. And I'm telling you what I do. And so if you invest the money and you're getting the dividends from this company, you're not waiting for them to put stuff on sale. You're not waiting for them because as they sell it to everybody else, you're getting a portion of their profits. I don't care how small it is. I'm still getting some. I want y'all to think about that. That's why they're not doing this. That's the reason why we in the situation. You are going to always be in the situation that you're in. And that has everything to do. Now, if you get a president that understands the economy and he enlarges that means more people can benefit from it. The only way you're going to benefit that, and here's where Trump comes into play with that. If he unregulates, frees up your money. If you don't tax your tips, it frees up more of your money. If you don't tax your overtime, it frees up more of your money. Then that allows you to make better decisions and maybe invest more money so that you can never end up in this financial dire that a lot of people are in when this stuff goes bad again. But the reason why the Democratic Party want to overtax you because they want to keep you in that position where you never become a competitor in that market. And that's the truth of the matter. Say what you want. You better vote based on your pockets. Because all the other stuff don't matter at this point. Yeah, we can go into the moral aspect of it too, but I'm not getting into that. I'm just talking on the financial aspect of it. If he frees up your tax, if he lowers your taxes and lowers this, now you have an opportunity to say, okay, now I got money and I got free money. A lot more of my paycheck is being freed up. Now I can invest my money into these companies, into this. Why? So to help offset the cost of my living, and I'm still building wealth while I'm working and while I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's the truth. I'm dead serious. And that's the truth. Say what you want to say. That's why it's Trump 2024 over here. And I'm pushing for this. And it's not just about money. There's a lot more at stake here than just about money. When Trump was in office, we had no new wars. That means that he was a man of peace. Yes, and I know why the Amish, most of the Amish people are voting for Trump is because they want to keep their religious freedom, which I do too. They want to keep, and a lot of them is talk about how the businesses is hurting, how the regulations is hurting their businesses. None of them don't even listen. A lot of us get our food from the Amish because they do most of the farming. They don't even want to be in that farming business no more. They're trying to get away from it because the government has regulated to the point that there's no money in it no more. That's what they're all saying. That's why they're voting for Trump, because he understands the business of it. But when you vote for somebody based on emotions like Kamala Harris, I want to vote for her because she's a black woman. Yeah, okay, play that stupid game if you want. You play stupid game, you're going to get stupid prizes. And that's the truth of the matter. You got to vote smart. She don't have the mental capacity to run anything. She probably don't even know how to run her own home. You get what I'm saying? And if she was so pro-black and for the black community, why she go out there and get a white husband? And if she was so pro-children and she was about kids, why she don't have none herself? Why? Because she's not for none of that. She is the one that is about herself. Because I'm gonna say this, and I'm going soon to get off. The whole Democratic Party is about them. They don't care about America. Their loyalty is to their party, not America. The only Democrats that I've seen that are loyal to America is the ones that got away from the Democratic Party when they seen all of this going on. They got away because they said, nope, it's about America. It's not about your party. The Democratic Party is evil. It has become evil and corrupt to a level that is unbelievable. They don't want God and they don't want you to worship God because they're the ones who told you when all that was going on, they shut down your churches. They shut down this and shut down that. Thank you, Glimpse. They're the ones that told you shut down your churches and stuff. Why? Because they know that if you're in the presence of God, that's a different level of power. That is a different level of power. They're not ready for that. They don't want you there. And that's why Kamala Harris said out of her mouth, you in the wrong building. because we evil over here. We don't believe in God. We evil over here. That's what she was really saying. So if you want to go and you want to vote that way, you go ahead and vote that way. One thing about me, I'm a Jesus man. And I might not be perfect, but Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. And if you are against Christ, you are against me. You will never get my vote if that's the case. Now, here's the thing with Trump. I can send you hundreds of videos of him talking about God and him talking about Christ. I don't care what level of Christ he's on, but at least he respects your God enough to want him to be a part of this country. Because he consistently says it. And he knows that this country has gotten so far away from God that it's causing more of a problem than we need. Because now we don't even have no moral standards. Everything goes. Any and everything is okay and when it's not. Good, right has become wrong, and wrong has become right. And if Kamala Harris talking about protecting, women's health, how can you say you protecting women's health when you guys are the one that want men to be able to go into women's sports and beat the crap out of them? How is that protecting women's health? How is that protecting women when you guys are letting all of these men that's so-called trying to act like they transition into, you're not going to women's sports and taking the things that women work hard to be and become? Make that make sense. You're not. So a woman, young girl, goes through, let's say, weightlifting. Goes in, want to be a weightlifter. Or let's use another example like track. She goes in, she's training to compete against other girls to try to be the best of the best. And some dude comes along and just sprints past her. And all that she did throughout all her years, now he got all the benefit in the trophy. Make that make sense. So you're not trying to protect women. You're lying. That's what you are. You're lying. Because if you was trying to protect women, you would have protected women then when it started. Obama would have protected women then when it started. And she would have, Joe Biden, all of them would have been saying, no, we're not going to do this because that is not protecting women. The other thing is, if you want to protect women, you wouldn't be trying to take away people's guns. Yes. You wouldn't be trying to take away people's guns. Because one thing about women is when it comes up to be fighting against a man, what the gun is the equalizer. If a woman has a gun and some crazy deranged man is trying to attack them, even in the sight of pulling the gun out, could possibly save her life. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Kurt's here. But could possibly save her life. That's why I tell men, that's why women should have guns. I think every woman in America, if you want, should have the right to protect themselves, which you do, but you should have the right to keep and bear arms. Why? Because there are crazy men out here that will do crazy stuff. And it might not be a good man around to protect you in that moment. But that gun, it'll help. It'll help big time. And that's the point of the matter. My family members and some of them, I thank God they're on here and I appreciate them showing up and stuff like that and whatever. But I tell them, go get you something. And they know. I will show you how to use it. I'll show you how to be efficient with it whenever you're ready. Why? Because I know as an uncle, as much as I would love to be able to protect them, I can't be there. But if they got their gun on their hip and they know how to use it, okay, that's a different story. And we from Philadelphia. We know what goes on in Philadelphia. And if Democratic Party was so concerned about protecting people and protecting crime and stuff, why they can't fix the crime in Philadelphia? Because they don't want to. Okay, Shereen, get an AK. Need you an AK? I feel you. The reason why they don't want to protect crime in Philadelphia because they don't want to, because it's a money maker for them. That's why they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it in none of the big cities. All of the crime that's going on in the big cities around in America, mostly. Right, exactly. Sheree, you're absolutely right. That's the reason, Kamala Harris and this immigration stuff. They let all of these criminals come from all these other countries. Now you're subject to them too. You're not just subject to American criminals. Now you got Venezuela criminals and all these other country criminals over here in America. And you don't know what. And listen, even after Trump gets in office, we're not going to find them all. They're still going to be here. We're going to have to deal with the fact that they're here. And some of them will never leave. That's why I say you need to have your weapon. You need to be efficient in it. You need to make sure you're good. Simple as that. You need to make sure you're good. And then my thing is, if you live and you're in a state that limit your ability to carry a gun or keep a gun, get out of that state. Because that means they don't care 2 cents about they don't care about the citizens. They're trying to help out the criminals. because criminals do not follow laws. Criminals don't look at a sign and say, oh, no guns allowed. Say, you know what? I'm not going to take my gun there because they don't allow it. Then what the criminal is going to say is, oh, there's a bunch of people here. And that sign says no guns allowed. That means that most of the people here, if they're law-abiding citizens, they're going to follow that law and not bring that gun. I'm not following that law. Now I'm going to go in there and I'm going to start robbing and victimizing people. Why? Because I know more likely they're not going to have a weapon to protect themselves. See how stupid that is? When you start limiting everyday honest working citizens to the access to weapons to protect themselves, you give criminals open season on them. So are you really trying to protect citizens? No. You're trying to help criminals to be able to criminalize more people by telling the citizens not to have a gun so the criminals can go do what they want to do. See how that is? But you don't think that they're doing it that way, but that's exactly what they're doing. They want you to be subject to the crime because that helps them politically. Because then they can say, oh, we're going to fight crime. We're going to do it. No, you're not. Because if you really wanted to fix crime, you would reverse course on that. You know what you would tell them? If you go into the store and you decide to rob that store, I encourage the owner to put you down. Guess what would happen if criminals was really under the threat of knowing that the owner going to put you down? They'll stop doing it. Simple as that. They'll stop doing it. But they're not going to do that. Now, on the Republican side, they will do that. But on the Democrat side, they're not going to do that. The Democrats want the crime because that's how they keep you under their finger. That's how they keep you in slavery and keep you under their finger, under their control, to make you believe that they're doing something for you that they're not going to do. They're never going to do it. I'm telling you because I witness it and I watch it and I see it and I know it 100%. That's the reason why I'm voting for Trump. And listen, I'm telling y'all, 5 years ago, I wasn't here. I did not vote for Joe Biden. I wasn't going to vote for Joe Biden. I already knew Joe Biden was a racist. I sat that election out because I wasn't sure. I just said, you know what? I'm not sure. I don't even know. But after a while, I just said, you know what, bro, you got to use your brain. You got to think. You got to really put some time into this to find out what's really going on. And as I started accumulating in my mind, and I started realizing, I said, man, we were tricked. And most of the black community, we was really tricked. Because they put a whole lot out there to make you, they made the whole black community angry at Trump for no reason. And that's the truth of the matter. They painted a picture of him being something that he definitely wasn't. And when I started looking into his history, I'm like, he helped all these black people. He did this for black people. He got a homeless black woman living in there. He taking care of her like it's his mom. These are all black people. I'm like, Oprah used to be good friends with him. All these people used to be good friends with him. All the rappers used to like him. They all wanted to be like Trump. When did the racist part start? Yeah. When did the racist stuff part? And then I realized that, oh, that's what it's about. When I started digging into this, and I'm going to say this, and I promise y'all I'm going to get off. But when I started digging into it, I realized that when he got into office, which they did not expect, and I don't even think Trump, when he won, really expected to actually win. But when he won, he's like, oh, snap, I won. I'm in. But when he got into office, he started seeing all the real corruption, like beyond what he probably already knew before he got there. And I think now they're afraid. A lot of the Democrats and all of the corruption, they are so fearful of him getting back in office that he might actually start going investigating them and locking them up and putting them in jail for the crimes and corruption that they've been doing. And I think that's why they pushing so hard and spending all of this money to try to stop him. Because if Trump wins as a politician, it's going to be great for the American citizens. If you're an American citizen, it's going to be great for you. It's going to be wonderful for you. This is going to be the happiest vote you ever had in your life. But for politicians that have been doing all this corruption and all this lying and all this stealing, they're the ones that are under the threat of Trump being in office. So I'm going to tell you this and I'm going to get off. Besides, please get Christ in your life and this and that. When Trump get in office, this is going to be the biggest drama show you've ever seen in your life. If he goes after this, you're going to love watching politics after this because I know these crybabies are going to be running. They're going to run to other countries. They're going to try to get out of Dodge because they in their mind, they're like, oh, if he wins, we're in trouble. This is the reason why they keep trying to get all these attempts on his life. Because he's not a threat to democracy. He's a threat to them. Because they don't want him in office because he's going to interrupt everything that they was doing and exposing them. And that's the truth of the matter. But I want to say this, and I'm going to get off and say, listen, y'all have a blessed day, wonderful day. Thank y'all for hanging in there with a brother. Thank y'all for being patient. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button. If you don't have Jesus Christ in your life, please, please, please get to know him. Get to know him. He's a life changer. And with that is said, I'm going to get off this live, and y'all have a wonderful, beautiful day. Peace.